Hey, what's happening, all my ninja out there? I'm Duuz-Diz-Din, and I'm coming at you with another Boruto Naruto Next Generations chapter review. This time it's chapter 35, titled It's Up to You. And this is the very last chapter of its normal serialization before it moves over to the Jump, and that's the virtual Shonen Jump reading site. That way you'll be able to read Boruto faster than ever. But this chapter in particular is actually a very fun and fascinating chapter with a lot of revelations and information. As we start off with Kurama, basically blocking Kawaki's path from exiting the building. But, Kurama makes it known that he's not really there to menace him or anything like that. And he explains that he was requested by the five Kage to keep an eye on Kawaki when Naruto wasn't able to. So that honestly just shows how cautious the Kage were actually being of Kawaki in general. Honestly, I mean, you keep him by the most powerful ninja in the Hidden Leaf Village. Not to mention, you also have the Nine-Tailed Fox keeping an eye on it even when Naruto is asleep. That's literally the most perfect defense right there and then. But Kawaki does actually know a little bit about the tailed beasts and what they actually are. And once he comes to that realization that it's in Naruto, he's just like, okay, that explains why the Hokage is so powerful. And that helps me understand why he was able to become the leader of the village. Although Kurama actually kind of says a little bit of the opposite. The opposite is very much true. Honestly, Kurama's presence, we go into the backstory of Boruto's dad. Kurama's presence for Naruto honestly made his life very much harder. And ever since he was an instant, his presence caused Naruto to be detested and treated like dirt even when he was little. Honestly, his life was very much like Kawaki's from the get-go. Very lonely, very unfortunate, very miserable to a certain degree. It was even worse because he was, Kurama was the entity that killed Naruto's parents. And when he was sealed in him as an infant, all the younger kids were told to keep away from Naruto, and he was detested by the adults. And the treatment that Naruto received was very much one that would be perceived as cruel to a certain extent. And so he ended up just swinging on that one particular swing for most of his time, just looking on as everyone else played. And Kawaki kind of has a flashback to this one discussion he had with Naruto about Naruto's shadow clone technique. It's just like where Kawaki thought it was a great technique to be able to use. You could, get in fights and do all these various things just with yourself. You'd never truly be lonely. However, Naruto ends up telling him, hey, it's just the opposite, honestly. And I'm living proof of all of that. Kurama goes on to say, yeah, he was always lonely, and the Shadow Clone Jutsu honestly makes it even more ironic. And it's even more ironic because he was never that great at ninjutsu, and the Shadow Clone technique was his worst technique. And he used it as a way to try to ease his sorrow, and it never truly worked. The only thing that really filled his heart was his friend. And Kurama has watched over the years as Naruto's heart, was filled up by the very people who surrounded him. And he's living proof that an empty heart can be filled with love. Very sweet, touchy-feely stuff. And Kawaki actually kind of wonders if it's possible for him to become someone like that. And Kurama comments to the fact that, Kawaki shows that he's not completely dried up or even dead inside, as Kawaki kind of sheds this lone tear, emo style from his eye, and it's just like, it shows that Kawaki still has something within him. He still feels like there's possibility of hope. He relates to Naruto. Naruto is someone who can find, his feeling of camaraderie in. and that's ends up being the driving factor and what pushes Kawaki into really looking up to Naruto for the most part. We then cut to the next day where Kawaki is training in the climbing technique using the chakra on the bottom of his feet and chakra control. Naruto comments about the fact that, well, Kawaki seems to really be adept at chakra control for the most part. But Kawaki says that it feels more like baby steps rather than anything else. Naruto, if you remember, had a tough time with this as when he was younger. It's just like, I actually had a tough time with that when I was a little bit younger. And then Boruto just rubs salt in the wound by saying, yeah, it was kind of simple for me too, Dad. And it was just like, okay, next lesson. And then we cut to Chocho and Sarada watching from afar, as Chocho's still kind of having a bit of a crush on Kawaki, but Sarada is less than impressed with him, specifically because she feels she's jealous, basically. Jealous of all the attention that Kawaki is getting from Naruto. And she feels that as someone who also really wants to follow in the footsteps of Naruto, she wants the same kind of treatment as well. But, Chocho kind of explains that, well, the seventh always kind of treats a lot of the younger villagers as his family. So does that really make us any different? And Sarada kind of understands where Chocho's coming from, but it's obvious that jealousy still lingers. Meanwhile, Shikamaru and Sai are having a bit of a discussion, and Sai, who is part of the Anbu Black Ops, Shikamaru explains that he doesn't really have any real reason to trust Kawaki, because there's no real reason be given. Shikamaru's always been this very skeptical person and very cautious to a fault. However, Sai says that there's no real reason to not trust Kawaki, because nothing that he's done or anything has really pointed him in the direction of not trusting him. And after they investigated the remnants of the ship, they actually find a specific coordinates that could only be accessed using space-time ninjutsu. And Sai points out that it's very much a trap, but it's something they can't really ignore. So they ended up sending Sasuke in on the lead, and we then cut to Sasuke popping in using his Renengan. Sasuke pops into this lone place that seems to be in this almost distant world with this Renengan pattern, there, and there seems to be these three different sets of patterns. These circular orbs with these patterns in them. These three boxes with two circles in each of them. And, he kind of goes over to them and he presses one of them, only for a depiction of Kinshiki to appear from the Boruto, movie, and the little arc with him and Momoshiki. Speaking of which, when he accesses the carving above that, he notices that signals Kinshiki is Momoshiki's a depiction of him to appear as well. So he starts to wonder what that's all about. So he goes over to the side next to the symbol for Momoshiki, and he presses it, and he notices that Kaguya appears. So apparently there's sets of each of the Otsutsuki clan. They're all connected with pairs. The next set over, they seem to be destroyed, so you can't see them, possibly hinting at the possibility of us seeing those characters later down the line to some degree. But then he notices that the one above Kaguya's pattern seems to have the circle open for the most part. And once he goes up to reach his hand in, he notices that Kaguya's pair, it seems to be this male depiction with this singular horn. And he's just like, man, Kaguya was insanely powerful. It'd be troublesome if she had appeared with her pair as well. But then he's interrupted by this growl coming from deep below. And when he goes to investigate, he notices that there is what looks to be the 10-tailed beast underneath, just chilling out, growling up a storm and all that good stuff. And he's just like, what the hell is going on there? We then cut over to Naruto though, and the kids. And Naruto starts to ask Boruto about his karma mark, whether it's still paining him, whether it's still hurting him or causing him trouble. But Boruto goes on to say that actually it's been settling down for the most part. He can still feel it throbbing, but there's no pain. But his sleep has started to get a little worse. That seems to be the only ill effect that's still lingering. But when Boruto asks Kawaki, Kawaki says his has also stopped hurting and his nightmares have really settled down. He also feels like he's imbued with a little more energy nowadays. Sara then chimes in and saying that, hey, your karma mark, does it have anything to do with the mark on my mom's forehead? You know, she remembers that her mom told her about it once, but she never really understood what kind of jutsu it is. So Naruto explains that it's the Byakugo no Jutsu, the strength of 100 technique. You know, this technique that infuses them with this incredible power. He even pointed out that Tsunade had one of those as well. And it's able to store in chakra and be used as a trump card. But he says, well, in the end, it's still just a regular ninjutsu. I don't think it has anything to do with karma. And, you know, Kawaki even goes on to say, well, it's a pretty common shape. You know, it's a diamond. So there's no real reason to investigate something like that. There's no real reason to have anything going in there. However, Mitsuki says there might be more to it. You know, as his parents, as he said, actually told him the history of the Byakugo no Jutsu is actually very ancient, and there's a lot of it that they don't know about. So there's the possibility that there actually might be some association there, which would be great, you know, actually making Sakura relevant again in the story. I'm all for that for the most part, and not to mention we could actually have her unlock new and different abilities and pass them on to Sarada as well. So he starts to wonder if maybe they should ask Tsunade about it. But, you know, when Boruto invites Kawaki to come along, you know, Kawaki says, no, I'll leave it to you. I have some stuff to do back at home. But, you know, before Boruto can leave, you know, Kawaki says to Boruto, hey, Jigen carved the karma into me, and he tore my entire world apart, and he knows everything. If we solve the mystery of karma, we will have to inevitably fight him, and we have to defeat him, because, you know, we have to use everything at our disposal to take care of this guy because he is a danger to the world. And Boruto agrees that they have to become stronger. They have to grow and adapt and struggle. And I actually kind of like this because, you know, Boruto even goes to say, hey, you know, we'll do this together. You know, you're someone that I won't simply abandon. You got that, brother, showing that, you know, Boruto and Kawaki's, you know, their fates are intertwined in a way that actually kind of supersedes Naruto and Sasuke's. Because I always felt Naruto's and Sasuke's relationship never quite made too much sense to me from the start, but with Kawaki and Boruto's, it feels deeper because they have this common thing that they're trying to figure out, this common thing that they're trying to understand and possibly get rid of. They have to bond because of certain circumstances, so they've taken the most out of it and actually gotten used to just being around each other. They're brothers in arms in the goal of just getting rid of the karma mark and taking down Jigen. And you know, we actually see Kawaki smile. It's just like, you know, it doesn't sound half bad. I've actually started to take a liking to you, Boruto. So it shows that brotherly bond that they're starting to have. We're starting to really see a full swing into the relationship between Kawaki and Boruto. But back with Sasuke, he starts to kind of investigate the Biju a little bit, only to notice that another space-time jutsu is being activated, and then Jigen steps through. And Sasuke notices the karma mark on Jigen's chin, and Jigen then descends into the cavern where the ten-tailed look-alike beast seems to start chomping away at Jigen, trying to consume him. But Jigen's just like, no, that's too soon to eat me yet. I'm still trying to complete the very first vessel. So he's just like, I have to take a little more chakra from you. So he starts to absorb the chakra, and then the karma marks start to kind of sprout around him. And then we actually start to see some very familiar looking horns sprout out on him, showing that he is in fact the pair to Kaguya Otsutsuki. And he realizes, okay, that he is of the Otsutsuki clan. And so Jigen is actually in relation to Kaguya, very much like a pair between Kinshiki and Momoshiki. Although it makes you wonder why he did not come down with Kaguya. It's probably because, Masashi Kishimoto didn't actually think of Jigen around that time. But it creates a more interesting storyline. And Jigen then goes on to say, maybe it's time to go greet my two vessels, probably referring to Boruto and Kawaki. And as Boruto and Mitsuki start to go racing through, Mitsuki starts to question. It's just like, hey, what if the karma mark doesn't actually disappear? What if it stays with you forever? And Boruto explains, well, that's a scary thought, but, I'll keep trying it out. I'll treat this like another mission. I'll keep running for it, doing my best. If I treat it like a mission, I'll keep looking at it as something that will eventually need to come to an end, and I'll, try to complete it with all my strength. Because I have, the support of Uncle Sasuke, and I'm my father's son, and I am a ninja. I'll do what I need to in order to get the job done. A very nice little bookend to Boruto being in this, serialization. And with that, he'll no longer be appearing in regular weekly Shonen Jump. He'll now be appearing in V-Jump. So, a very good chapter, very nice when we're fully starting to get into swing. I've heard a lot of people saying that, making that connection makes it so that the enemy is now more of a credible threat. But honestly, I kind of figured it had to be something along those lines. Because, these guys seem to be very adept. Honestly, the team that Jigen's leading don't seem to be slouches. There seems to be something very deeply innate about what they're able to do and how they work. There's something very much that is kind of being ignored for that. And we never really felt that. Nobody seemed to be giving Kara any due credit for the most part. But Jigen gave this air of mystery that had to have, now that I'm thinking about it, it had to have something to do with the Otsutsuki clan, because we've been driving into that ever since we got to the end of Naruto. Kaguya just came in all of a sudden and just appeared out of nowhere at the last second during the Great Shinobi War. But now that we're really starting to flesh out the Otsutsuki clan and what they're all about ever since, Kaguya's appearance, Momoshiki's appearance, Kinshiki's appearance, the various members of the Otsutsuki clan have just been plaguing Naruto left and right, here and there. They've just been coming out of nowhere, just wreaking havoc upon the planet, and that just seems to be their thing to do. They have this great plan going on where they do whatever they can to just mess with Naruto's life for the most part, and it's just a very interesting way of going. Now, honestly, I'm really interested in seeing where we go from here on out, because there's a lot we don't know about the various Otsutsuki clan members. There's something deeper going on with there, and it makes it apparent that Kishimoto really wants to explore these characters. Like, he had this last minute idea that he really wanted to, embrace, take a hold of, and really explore to the full extent that he possibly can. But tell me your thoughts in the comment section below. I kind of rattled off for a little too long with this, but tell me what you think about the fact that now Jigen seems to be connected to the Otsutsuki clan proper, and what is his connection to the Otsutsuki clan? Why is he like this? What is his goal here? What is he trying to do? Where is he trying to go with all of this? Because it really makes you wonder, why are the Otsutsuki clan constantly involved in the affairs of Earth? What are they after? What are they trying to achieve in all of this? These are some powerful entities, and they're really starting to fuck with the Earth. And I really very much want to know why, and how Jigen ties into all of that. And with the fact that Kawaki has started to really grow so close to Naruto and seen him as a mentor and a father figure, and Boruto as a brother, what causes the scene that we saw in the beginning of Boruto? What causes this divide to come between Kawaki and Boruto, and how do we get to that point from here on out? Tell me your theories in the comment section below. If you liked this video, leave me a like. If you didn't, feel free to leave me a dislike and tell me what I did wrong in the comment section below, so I might better myself for future videos. Subscribe and hit the bell icon, that way you never miss out on a Boruto chapter review. And if you want to find me on social media, just Google Duuz-Diz-Din. I'm everywhere for better or for worse. And until the next video, I just want you to remember that you will always manage to find a relation to someone. You just have to look, and they might very well inspire you to be a better you than you ever thought you could possibly be. Just keep looking. They're definitely out there. No one was meant to live alone. I'm Duuz-Diz-Din, and I'm going to bed. Bye-bye.